You were a mental patient with severe mania and paranoia, with strong antisocial tendencies. You just escaped from a mental hospital, but you crossed into this dead literature in the next second. Here, you need to be selfless for everyone, and finally, use your own death to push the story to a climax. Everyone will wake up after losing you, and they will regret the past with you. Hearing this, you smiled gently. First of all, you are a mental patient. Second, you like this world where no unreasonable incident occurs, and no one calls Uncle Hat. Fish cakes have been updated again. They are crazy and cool. Pay attention to fish cakes. Please, the following text begins. You are a mental patient, and you have prepared a lot to escape from the mental hospital. Just 5 minutes ago, you put down the nurse who came to the ward round and changed his clothes at the monitoring dead corner. Thanks to your proper disguise, you successfully escaped from the mental hospital. But the next second you walked on the road, you were knocked down by an out-of-control truck. When you woke up again, you became the heroine of an abuse article. The thing called system in your head told you the last thing you need to do in this world is to be silent and give for your parents who ignore you, your boyfriend who changes his mind, and your brother who does to know right from wrong. You don't need to explain, because before you die, they will unconditioned ally believe the fake daughter at home. But it does matter. You just need to choose suicide to die after. Disappointment accumulates to a certain extent. When you die, everyone who ever wastes you will come back to love you. You are silent and do not respond, but the system seems to have completely ignored it, and is still shouting in your mind. They all have to chase the crematorium until they find out that the second girl is the bad guy. You have been giving them sincerely for a long time, but you are dead and can never come back. After that, you can only spend the rest of your life in pain and tears. Just think about it, and you will die. You must show a little injustice now. The harder you abuse in front, the deeper you regret in the back. He was still rambling, completely unaware that your face had grown impatient. Finally, you can no longer bear the irritability in your heart. You picked up the fruit knife on the table, without hesitation, and gave it to the fake daughter who was still crying next to you. Acne went through his palm and nailed his whole hand firmly to the table. He was going to slander you for looking down on him and not wanting to cut this birthday cake with him. But now he can throw on pure and weak disguise. The whole face twisted to the extreme. Her screams rang out, her whiling mouth wide so that she could see her throat, and tears and snot flew out together. Everyone was so shocked by this sudden change that after half of the tablecloth was dyed red by the splashing blood, your brother standing behind him reacted. He hurried forward to push you away, then made a mistake against the palm of Bingchuan's fake daughter. In the end, they did not dare to draw their knives easily. The dining table and the fake daughter were transported to the hospital together. When you leave, you look like your parents and brother's gloomy eyes that can almost drip out of water happily smear the cream stuck to your lips. And when you lick the bright red tip of your tongue, you feel pleasure from your heart. Yum. Very happy now. But the system in your brain is not very dare to speak. Host, your approach has gone badly wrong. He wanted to say something, but the next second he could only send out a string of random codes. He does and he realize you react a sea of chaos in both your brain and your heart. There, only storms and tsunamis come. These things that keep you from getting a moment of peace can easily swallow up the parasitic products of technology that are constant lie clamoring in your mind. You hurt the most precious fake daughter in your family. Your parents and brother vowed to teach you Allison, but the fake daughter was serious lie, injured. The hand of the pianist he was proud of has been ruined by you. Your parents have been by his side, comforting him and accompanying him. They are not willing to give up half of hope, as long as they can make him recover. They will do whatever it takes. At the beginning, when your palm was deliberately scalded with boiling water by fake daughter, you didn't need to pay so much. They only need to help your doctor in time, or let you go out of your house to buy some anti-inflammatory drugs to bandage it. You won't have able to pick up a scalpel anymore because of muscle infection caused by wound inflammation. And all this is just because the fake daughter told them that you deliberately didn't pick up the glass of water he handed over. You wanted to look down on his face, so your parents wanted to teach you Allison. They ignored the degree to which the glass of water could directly burn people and insisted on letting you kneel at home to reflect. It was not until you fainted due to wound infection that you were allowed to return to your cramped bedroom to rest. You ruined your career for such funny reasons. And your boyfriend came to your home overnight, not to comfort you, but to coax the fake daughter, who was broken by you, to be happy. Now after hearing what you did at the birthday party at home, your boyfriend stopped his meeting abroad and flew back overnight. The hurt fool Xiao Mo has to pay a price. This is the first thing he said to you after you welcomed him into the house. All the servants in the villa had been taken away by him, and they all seemed to know what would happen next. Some of them cast sympathetic eyes at you when they left. Of course, there are more elements of watching the play in these eyes. The next second, the door is closed. Just when your boyfriend is still pulling the belt, you do not hesitate to take out the vase hidden behind you and smash it at his pocket. The blood stimulates your nerves, and your boyfriend falls to the ground. The white skin makes you want to abuse. Your relentless lie picked up the vase fragments and drew one mark after another on his skin. After a long time, your boyfriend woke up in pain, and you unhurried lie took out the ropes and shackles from his coat and tied them all to him. At the moment, The boyfriend looks at you with fear, but you are merciless, grabbing his hair and slamming it against the cold wall until he even begged for mercy. You were in a good mood. You took out his car keys and drove him to the secret room in the wilderness. Of course, you know how your boyfriend is going to deal with you over the years. As long as you dare to make half of the fake daughter unhappy, he will punish you. And his abusive approach is always so single. Your body has a serious claustrophobia. It is in a cage-like chamber in a barren suburb where there is no food or water, and you are accompanied by endless darkness. The only thing you can do is to repent every day and assure them that you will never again dare to go against the fake daughter or make him unhappy at all until he untied the chain and let you out. Then edge your neck like Adamer and spoke earnestly. Eom, also for your own good. You are older than Sandy and you should learn to understand. If I didn't do this, you will become a vicious girl in the future. And now you are already a vicious girl. When you put your boyfriend, Liao, into the secret room, your smile was even a little cruel. In the moonlight, you can clearly see his face. Almost 12 points of fear, which makes his face inevitably look a little feral. Shyest. Your positions are almost reversed. He has only the last strength left, but the words in his mouth are still tough to break. Up. He said I was really wrong. You are such a person. What you hate most from childhood to adulthood is listening to others say that you are such a person. You are clearly an undefined evil dog in the wind, okay? So you picked up the hammer on the side and smashed it mercilessly at his head. The hammer was crooked, but he scared the urine of his pants. The new business star who had always been high. At the moment, the suit pants were stained with a puddle of obvious brown stains, and the odor in the house smelled a little bad for air. Instant. But it does and matter. You can leave easily. You are not afraid that the police will find here. According to your observation, there is no police in the world of abuse, no matter what kind of excessive things you do. These giants seem to have various reasons not to call the police. Besides, the owner of this secret room is your boyfriend. Now that you just lock him in, there will always be a way out if you call the police. I don't know if he can explain it clearly. What is the secret room built for almost 1-to-1 engraving cells? As you expected, your boyfriend was found by an assistant on the third day. He escaped, but he didn't tell the police. He just didn't dare to come to you again for a short time. At the same time, your family also got bad news. Jean's hand could no longer heal his future piano. Everyone has fallen by now. Smell speech. You are very happy, specially made eatable of good dishes waiting for them to come back. It's a pity that your parents didn't appreciate it. They overturned the table. As soon as they came back, your father stepped forward and slapped you severely. The tip of your tongue was against your gums, feeling the smell of blood inside your mouth, and laughing slowly. They want you to kneel down and send you back to your ancestral home to be disposed. They said you were a white-eyed wolf and should not have recognized you back. Yes, when you return to this home, you are already very old. At that time, because your adoptive parents died, you had to find a family to recognize your relatives. I hope they can complete your studies. You will definitely compensate and repay them after employment. But one by one, they still think that you are wrong and want to climb the dragon and attach the phoenix, especially the fake daughter. She will spread rumors in the school that you are the daughter of the nanny at home, and that you once stripped naked to seduce the 50-year-old housekeeper for 1,000 yuan. And no matter how ridiculous it is, your brother will testify to her to prove that what she said is true. You have always had a bad life in this family. You have never taken a penny from your family since you went to college. But despite this, they still think you are complicit. Now the people have finally decided to judge you, but it does matter. Because you saw clearly that after they were tired of scolding, they all drank the lake water you put in the most conspicuous position. At night, you neighed in the hall and watched them fall down one by one. You had already shut down the monitors everywhere in the house. This time you didn't even let the servants in the villa go, because you know that they have always tipped off their boyfriends. They are their boyfriend's eyeliner and fans of fake daughter. When you are in this home, they always appear in front of you, intention ally or unintention ally, deliberately making things difficult for you and saying something that you are not worthy. They are conscious lie, guiding and isolating you, hoping that you will choose between death and retreat. And your original body also lived up to expectations, and you got severe depression. At this moment, you slowly stand up from the hall, moving some weak legs, ready to do some big things. You are not in a hurry to harvest your prey, but first you go to the kitchen to enjoy the tableware, and the whole person becomes excited. If you really haven't decided which equipment to use, you give them one. So you tie people together and you are going to play a game with everyone. These people are now drugged by you. They are powerless. Before they have the ability to escape, they need to tell a truth every 10 minutes. A distorted truth about you in the past. People who tell the truth can be at peace in this round. The identified will be punished in the eyes of resentment. You ask the first question. Did you really just accidentally get lost? Did you really just accidentally get lost? As soon as this problem came out, a trace of guilt flashed on the face of my brother, who was sitting on the ground swearing. But he was still justified otherwise. You were a harmful person. At the beginning, you had to play with human traffickers by yourself, which caused your parents to find you all these years and have been living in guilt. How dare you mention this? The more he said, the more excited he became. He completely believed in the general and stood on the dominant position. An angry lie denounced you. But when you first arrived, you knew the whole truth through the system in your brain. Unfortunate lie. He lied. So in his panic eyes, you slowly hold his little finger, and the phalanges are breaking off in the opposite direction. The voice of dislocated bone joints and the screams of your brother ring together. After all, you are just a little girl. Such heartbreaking. Other people's fingers will still make you feel hard. So under his frightened gaze, you slowly took out your big wrench, iron forceps, tweezers, scalpel from the kit. Your brother began to apologize. He cried bitterly. I was wrong. It was I who didn't like you at the beginning that gave the traffickers a chance. My parents threw you to me every day when they started their business. I didn't save my own time. I was impatient for a while. A shrill scream sounded. This time he was broken off his left thumb because he still refused to tell the truth. His misplaced fingers quickly became bloodshot, swollen and purple. The fake daughter on the side had scared the whole person into asylum. Looking at your beloved son being abused by you, your parents looked at you with hatred, and the curse in your mouth kept on. It was not until you picked the third finger that your brother, who was lying on the ground, opened with a gosling voice. I sold it. He said I sold you to traffickers. The look on their parents' faces became stunned and shocked, and even the fake daughter was so surprised that she forgot to tremble. For a while, everyone's eyes focused on your brother, but he made a ruthless effort, raised his head and shouted at you. What's wrong with me? I am still a child myself. Just because my parents have no time to start abusing us. Should I be your nanny? Do you know how disgusting I am? I sold the 200 yuan you got that day and went to the internet cafe to play all day. It was the best day I had when I was awkward, and that's the value of you. With that, his eyes sank and his voice changed tone because of the pain. He said, why did you come back when you have all gone? Obviously, our life is good now. It is because you came back that everything is in chaos again. You should disappear forever and rot in that garbage dump. With that, he resigned and closed his eyes, waiting for your revenge. And on the opposite side of him, your mother's look is more and more complicated. He has always been proud of his son, thinking that he has the happy street family in the world. But now the despicable and ugly displayed by his handsome son makes him unacceptable, and he finally chooses not to go too far. And you didn't retaliate against anyone, just nodded calmly and put away the props in your hands. After all, your brother told the truth. According to the rules, you should start a new round of games. The potential of my brother. The whole house dare not cheat again. Why do you almost rush to answer? As a result, your mother learned about the diamond necklace, that she disappeared when you were first recognized home. It's not you, but the fake daughter who deliberately planted it. And the son of his father's business partner is not what you offended at school. He just wants to pursue fake daughters, deliberately unite with him, bully and embarrass you. As more and more people confide the truth, your parents look more and more embarrassed. The so-called happiness, happy home, just cover up these ugly fig leaves, that layer of veil. Once the lines is, there made them afraid to face it directly. Finally, their high heads tended to be low. The tone of voice to you is also a little gentle. We also don't know what happened at the beginning. They said they were trying to find the venue by holding on to their parents' last majesty. So they said, but you are also wrong. If it weren't for your poor personality, you would untell your parents and cronies and would unexplain to us. How could we misunderstand you so easily? They argued hard, but what they said made them blush to the neck. After a catharsis, they look at you with a little expectation. They are looking forward to your reaction. If you can, show a little introspection and guilt about this. They will also consider accepting you later. The best thing is that your conscience finds out now. They let go and then apologize to them. In this way, they cannot send you away, and they will compensate you in the future. But you didn't do it. You didn't even listen to them at all. Just focused on your game. Once upon a time, before you went crazy and were locked up in a mental hospital, you were a game lover, and no one could disturb your happy game time. So, this time you directly clenched your fist and put the microphone you pretended to have in your hand on your mother's face, who was still glaring at you. Are you listening to us or not? She screamed angrily, but you just calm lie. Retold your problem. Dylan, Kiang seduced my boyfriend to chain you first, seeing that you can't get in at all. It seems that your mother didn't really realize that you were crazy until this time. She looked at the tightly bound fake daughter sitting opposite him in the air. The latter's face was covered with tears and her eyes were full of balloons. Don't doubt. With your brother who was born and broke 2 fingers. Everyone present now is afraid of your revenge, especially the fake daughter who offends you the most on weekdays. Finally, your mother closed her eyes, as if she had made up some kind of determination. She no longer looked at you. Her lips trembled, and the voice of her words had changed, but she was so firm. Sandy, she doesn't know anything. It was my child who was built in like DTHE. Fact that Sandy pulled strings for them. Sandy was innocent from beginning to end, and it was a pity that he lied. You stand up and look at him condescending, with unconcealed disappointment on your face. You thought he would be a smart player, and gave such a stupid answer. You can help but feel uninteresting here, but you still decide to give him another chance. So, you turned around and cast your eyes on the fake daughter of Pear Blossom with ring. He asked him softly. Is what he said just now true? A thunder fell, and the shining thunder clearly reflected the chainsaw you just held in your hand. The fake daughter suddenly went crazy and pointed at your mother across the street and showed Ted. Yes, it was him, and this old hag dared. The thunder outside the house continued, but the identification of the fake daughter was better than the shock. Your mother was shocked on the spot instantly. It was all the fault of this old hag. I didn't want to. You have already said that. Chang Yuji is my sister's boyfriend. I can third. My sister share. He said Jane Jiang. You are not worthy of Chang, and such a good man insisted on giving her to me. The fake daughter looked pale, but she still knelt on the ground, looked up and showed you a flattering smile. In the corner of his hand, the wound began to bleed again, but he seemed not to notice it. In his eyes, there was only a desire for survival, regardless of his parents' anger. He westward to your side, trying to lean on your calf. That never weak, an innocent face is the same cruel smile as you. He said, you killed them. Jing Jiang killed those two old things and avenge the past and give you revenge. He said that they had instructed me to do everything before. They just thought that you must have been unclean when you were wandering outside so much. They are afraid that you will lose their face, so they will instigate me to target your sister. I am just a tool used by them. What is really bad is those two old things. In fact, I don't want to do this to you. I have been unhappy every day in the past. He even choked up when he talked about the emotion. Tears fell from her eyes one by one, but they could not hide the greed in his eyes. Yes, if you can instigate crazy you to kill your parents tonight, then after the sun rises, he will become the biggest beneficiary of this game. After all, if your parents die, you will go to jail, and that rich fortune will eventually fall on him and your worthless brother. From the monologue of the fake daughter, you can hear that he also feels sick about the need to be good to your parents day after day. He thinks, from the bottom of his heart, that your parents are just two old things that died long ago. But you will not do it after all. You just want to play games and have no interest in becoming a murderer. According to the rules of the game, the fake daughter lied and should be punished. Those evil things have always been his motive for doing all this from his heart. But it is because he is afraid that, as Ariel daughter, you will compete with him for favor after. Returning to the Lin family, you look at his mouth, which is still opening and closing, and the row of white and neat teeth is really attractive. You smiled, leaned over and picked up the wrench on the ground, slammed it down, blood splashing everywhere. His noisy gangster now counted into screams. He begged you for mercy, and the people around him for help. But your parents just looked at him coldly. This time, they will not be angry with his tears. They're in. Difference at this moment is more than before. When you have punished the fake daughter, it is your mother's turn to look at you as you walk towards her step by step. His eyes are full of heartache. Once upon a time, he always looked at you with such eyes. When he looked at you, he was more indifferent and disappointed. And now, he seems to have become a mother who really belongs to you. Even if the wrench in your hand is still dripping blood, he seems not afraid at all. Once upon a time, he did not love you, and he preferred and believed in the fake daughter raised by himself. At that time, your meek was in his eyes. Cowardly. Your honesty is vulgar in his eyes. No matter what you do, he can only see your bad side. Now he begins to love you, although the driving force for him to quickly enter the role of your mother comes from his fear of you and the betrayal of fake daughter. In his eyes, you will become crazy because you have been wrong Ed in the past, and your cruelty is Alice's resort. He has seen through the true face of the fake daughter, and even feels disappointed about the character of his son who will sell his sister to Atrofiga. Although what hurts again and again now is that you think you are very good. He is ready to love you. So he looked at you. His eyes became gentler and his voice became softer. He called you baby and whispered your name. And Sue's mother already knew the truth. In the past, Kiang did something wrong, and her mother apologized to you. If it is placed in ordinary abuse articles, sincere apologies from parents who have misunderstood themselves can often make abused women turn back in time. And the happy ending is not impossible under this description. You look at his face full of expectation. He is so nervous that he even clenched his hands. Unconsciously, your father on the side saw you stop and quickly spoke up to help. It's just that, compared with the mother who really wants to make up with you, what he said was much less sincere when he was scared. He rushed to shirk his responsibility. It was all caused by Lin Qiang. Qiang, my parents wanted to treat your young Snow well from the beginning. Now let go of your parents. Let's sit down and have a goody talk and talk about all the misunderstandings. My parents will treat you well in the future. In order to impress you, she even gave up her own son who was still staring at her. In the future, you are the only daughter of the Lin family, and all his property will be given to you. At this moment, you seem to be loved by everyone, but you don't need love. After all, it was mentioned at the beginning of the story that you are a mental patient. You only want to play games with them now. But now they both punish two people at the same time, which requires you to stop and think carefully. How to give them different punishments is wonderful enough, but the way you Medita Ted caused the misunderstanding. At that moment, the color of confidence returned. to the face of your father, an old fox who has been in the market for a long time. You must be soft-hearted, and you have been deeply moved by the conditions he proposed. While he was proud, there was a bit of disdain in his eyes. Women were soft-hearted and had to die for some emotional troubles all day long. That's what he thought in his heart. In fact, in the past, he did not never see the false daughter framing you, but he acquiesced that the floral he addressed. Things in these homes were the scope of women's responsibility. He is very tired from working hard outside. As long as things don't come to him, he does care who is wrong and who is severely depressed. Even he didn't care about his daughter's existence at all. After all, he already had a son who would inherit his wealth in the future. No matter whether the daughter is true or not, she only raises a vase for marriage. He never takes the vase too seriously, just like at this moment. After seeing you moved by a few soft words from your parents, the smile on his face spread to the maximum. The next second, when you have figured out the punishment method, you look up with the same smile, mocking and contemptuous, just like looking at the lowest worm. Your parents saw this. Her pupils suddenly narrowed. Snow realized something was wrong, and her trembling voice had not had time to say a complete sentence. The next moment, the wrench in your hand is already knocking straight at his head, and your mother's screams suddenly rang out and stopped abruptly. Your father fell to the ground. His head broke open, a mouth still bleeding out, and your mother fainted. Sure enough, using the most primitive means is the most comfortable. You praise yourself in your heart and look around with satisfaction. The scene is very good. Everyone has been punished, but your parents seem to be temporarily unable to participate in the next round of the game. So your eyes return to your brother and Jia Kyungjin. At the moment when they met your eyes, their eyes turned from hot red to fear. You remember the system in your head that says that the ultimate purpose of your coming to this world is to make all of them feel regret for what they did to you in the past. So you squatted down in front of your brother. You asked him, "Brother, do you regret it?" He glared at your clenched lips, trembling constantly, as if he wanted to put down some tough words. But in the end he cried with a wail. So you have to turn your attention to the fake daughter. You ask him, "Do you regret it?" He lost 3 teeth and nodded hastily when he heard this. "I was wrong." Tears mixed with blood came out of his mouth. He looks very pitiful now, but when you look at him like this, you can always remember that he was even more pitiful when he was bullied at school. What the native lost was not 3 teeth. The native was once pressed by them in the school bathroom and broke his entire chin. At that time, he was also lying helplessly on the floor, with blood foam mixed with tears and smoke in his throat, because he was beaten for a variety of reasons. She can't remember the reason why the rich children carried out justice that day, whether it was to deal with the nanny's daughter with unclean hands and feet, or because the fake golden male god smiled at the native. The head teacher who presided over justice for her was still there. The original life was not so sad, but it didn't take long for the young and just female teacher to disappear from the school. After all, the principal of this school is the father of Jia, Kyungjin's good friend. You are immersed in such memories, and suddenly feel that this game is boring. And right now, the fake daughter is crying to pieces. He kept repenting to you, shaking out all the things he had done in the past, including her covering for her and her mystery in front of her mother in order to please her father. The mother, who was scared dizzy by you, just woke up. At this time, after hearing these words, he was stunned at first, and then the whole person cried out. His cry was smaller than his own terrified eldest son's. While crying, he scolded the fake daughter for being Abui, Nang, and for being wrong over the years. He scolded and regretted it. He has 2 daughters, one of whom is a bad seed and the other has been driven mad by them. He was regretting that if he had cared more about his own daughter and talked to him more, everything would not be like this. One more person regrets, but you don't feel excited about it. The previous thing called system tells you that the regret and belated love of these people are what the abuser wants most, and what the audience wants most. For those girls who can grow up in a happy childhood, love is a treasure that they can get in their poor life. Alas, it is more important than everything. In addition, they should also have a good character in order to ensure that they are pure and flawless. Even if they are hurt, they cannot fight back. They must silently endure and pay for everyone. Only in this way can they finally get the guilt of others when they are wrong. A word of regret seems to be able to wipe out all the injuries you have suffered before, but you still can't. What's the use of such regret? There is also the so-called love, which does not make you feel more interesting. Compared with being loved, you still prefer to practice your fists harder. You think maybe your way is useless, so you turn your attention to your brother who just stopped crying again. According to that system, the so-called crematorium must be regretted by the person who hurt you the most and said he loved you in order to achieve the best achievement. Think about it. All the misfortunes of the original god originated from being sold to human traffickers by his brother when he was 4 years old. So this time you solemnly asked, "Brother, do you love me?" Hearing this, your brother's tears just stopped, collapsed again. He thought you were still playing games with him. All this in front of him still tested him, and he didn't dare to lie again. So he cried and showed Ted, "I love Sandy, and I have feelings for him. Other than brother and sister, I want to sleep with him. He promised to drive you away and stay with me. I'm sorry, please let me go." As soon as this was said, Your mother's cry was shocked. Even your father, who had been pretending to be dead, couldn't help opening his eyes and yelling at him. Beasts. Short-sighted words kept coming out of his mouth, but you could vaguely understand that your father was so angry, but he thinks his son should have a better development. Such a mentality may not be love, but it is definitely closer to love than hurting a person and repenting to him again. After all, there is no future for blindly agreeing, advances and concessions. You think a lot, and the family behind you has ignored you. They abuse, criticize, and attack each other, and you are immersed in thinking as a fine patient. For the first time you think so much, you feel your head is going to explode. The system called you being took the opportunity to run back. When he saw this terrible scene, he could end up crying to the sky and was finished. However, the next second he let out a surprised sigh, and all of them reached the standard. Whether it is remorse or love. No, this is not love. They are more awe. Your awe is automatically transformed into love under the instinct to survive. My God, the host. They all love you now, he exclaimed, as if he had opened the door to a new world. He could, and understand why women could complete these tasks while they were alive. After all, they never felt guilty for hurting women like that before. You wanted to think. Calm lie. Tell him that the key may not be that the hostess is hurt, but that they are hurt themselves. People are like this. They damn hurt. They never know how to hurt themselves. Therefore, it is very stupid to arouse the conscience of the perpetrator with his own pain. Even if you are a crazy person who is always awake, you think all this is ridiculous. You and you being system are relatively silent. Silent to achieve dawn. And behind you, the former and my May family are not so quiet. They took out almost every vicious word they could think of to attack each other, until my brother, who was once a filial son, even spoke to your parents. After he was rescued, he would seize their rights and drive them out of the house as soon as possible. That moment, a certain spirit that had been supporting your father disappeared, and he collapsed. Finally, on the last night, your boyfriend who failed to receive the fake daughter news came to you. This time he learned to be smart and brought dozens of bodyguards. Still, he was shocked by what was happening in the house. He thought he could see you being cleaned up by your family, but now your family has been cleaned up by you. He is more and more afraid to look at you, and even dare not express concern for the fake daughter, as if he is afraid of your revenge afterwards. He ran so fast that no matter how the fake daughter called him behind him, he did not look back. Nevertheless, the bodyguards are responsible for rescuing your family. After suffering all night, the scarred family could no longer care for each other as before. After being rescued, the father knew that his son wanted to seize power and drove himself out to be with his stepsister again. The mother learned that her husband was cheating and that her daughter and son had been accomplices. My brother knew that Jime was deliberately hanging himself. He had both sides of himself and his sister's boyfriend. And stepsister scolded them. Everyone is not a good thing, cannot protect themselves. Just one night of beauty, will never again. Nowadays, relatives are not like relatives, and lovers are more like revenge. They are silent and hate each other. Now no one mentioned to send you back to your ancestral home. The trial was as you expected. This time, they still didn't tell the police. The family went to the hospital for Rysel. The injuries were heavier than the other, but they still wanted to solve them privately. They found someone to give you a psychiatric Rysel and sent you to a mental hospital after getting the results. When you leave, only your mother expresses her reluctance to you. He tells you that he is going to divorce, but in any case, she will wait for you and become your mother again. After you are treated, you think this is really boring and choose to look at him with your nostrils. As for the other people, they wish you would never come back, but they also parted ways and could never go back to the past. But the last person they want to see is still you. After all, they only come to each other. Only you will really tie them together and kill them. But what they don't realize is that you are a mental patient. Escaping from a mental hospital is your strong point. More than that, you now have a mental diagnosis, and you are invincible. For the rest of your child's life, you will randomly appear around any of them like a ghost or ghost, disrupting their finally calm ed down life. No one can do anything to you, because you are a mental patient, driven crazy by their own hands, and they will be tortured forever. As for who you are, of course you are a mental patient in the last world. As long as there is an abuser, you will exist in the last world, because they want to give the woman a purgatory, like living environment and require her flawless moral character. They asked for innocence and softness, and even the horns could not be hard. The lambs lived in the heaps of tigers and wolves. They could not resist and were not allowed to have temper. This is a fallacy and anti-human, but it bewitches many people. Gradually, more and more girls were asked to do this, and you were born. You are their negative emotions, and they all say you are crazy, but sometimes you feel that you are very sober. When you are hurt, you give a tooth for a tooth, and an eye for an eye. This is the first truth you want to teach everyone. You are the anger of the girl, the savagery of the girl, the vulgarity of the girl. You are all the qualities that make them accused of not being the perfect sacrifice. You real lunatic. You re out of the siege with your fists. What you ask is not the love of others, but to be respected and feared. You have to stand on the mountain of equality and talk to them, even if you fight back with blood. You are the real heroine. The full text is finished.